begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely.
First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit. I don't want to get ducted and anal.
This film is not rated.
You know how the game serves us? It has a definite social purpose.
The Boys from Brazil starts where that nightmare left off. But for the dream to live again, 94 men must die.
An inferno ruled by winged creatures like guardians of the gates of hell. A host of Satans, nourished by the flesh of sacrificial maidens.
Hi there, my little droogies. The evening's the great time, isn't it, Alex Boy?
The missile has just been launched. It is heading towards the Cyan-Sibirsk oil complex.
Guardian has retaliated.
Retaliated?
It may be too late, sir.
Oh, my God.
The 23rd century will be here sooner than you think.
How do you fight a force that knows what your next move will be before you think of it?
Westworld.
Your attention, please. We will soon be landing at Westworld, the ultimate resort.
Game! This wasn't meant to be a game!
He betrayed you! He betrayed the Iron Race!
The threat is real.
Now I fear that Hooja the Sly One will lead Jubal the Ugly One back here.
I heard about him.
David, he will kill you.
Pretty well, little brother. Pretty well. It'll be your own torture. I hope to God it'll torture you to madness.
When the crystal in the palm of your hand flashes its final message, your time is up. But there are a few rebels who run in search of sanctuary. Logan, trained to enforce the law, dares to become a runner himself. He and the girl who loves him become the hunted when they set off on Logan's run.
Desire ends in satisfaction.
Let me handle it.
And all in a controlled environment.
That's not supposed to happen.
No player is greater than the game itself. It's not a game a man's supposed to grow strong in, Jonathan.
ultimate resort.
Let me do it this time.
Where nothing can possibly go wrong.
I'm shot.
Go wrong.
Raw.
Go
Oh
wrong.
my God.
Shut down. Shut down immediately.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them Silent Green is people! We gotta stop them somehow!
You gotta tell them Soylent Green is Monty Python and the Flying Circus. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Mike Show on this fine Sci-Friday evening. Because you know what tonight is? Oh, yes. You've been waiting for it all week. I know that. You've been thinking about it every day, perhaps for several hours a day, okay? Which would be kind of scary. But in any case, tonight we're looking at 1970s science fiction films. And I thought, hey, what more appropriate attire than to have this Keep on Trekking shirt from Star Trek from the 1960s, okay? No, look, as you may recall, from the 1970s, AMT put out iron-on transfers, and one of them was this Keep on Trekking iron-on transfer, which I had back in the day. Oh, yes, I had it. Well, guess what? I got that sucker again. I bought the iron-on transfer. This is one of the originals from 1970s. Apparently, they got, I would assume, hundreds of these suckers. And you can get them on eBay for $10. $10, folks. So if you saw the video I did this past week, part of that video has me putting the iron-on transfer onto this shirt. Oh, yes. The technical feats of Horror Mike, okay, cannot be understated here, folks. But in any case, welcome. Yeah, we got some freaking movies. You just saw a little snippet from Soylent Green, and we are going to be looking at that rather large aspect of sci-fi films from the 1970s, which was eco-dystopia. Remember all that stuff that, you know, we were rather scammed into believing? Well, we're going to be looking at that tonight, as well as another important aspect, and that is kind of in cinema, the dawn of AI and supercomputers. Now, of course, in the late 60s, there was, for instance, 2001 Space Odyssey, which had a bit of that, you know, and there were a few other films in the 60s that touched on it, but it really started kicking into gear in the 1970s. And so we're going to be taking a good look at some of the gems from that era. And not only that, folks, but some kind of offbeat flicks that you may not even be aware of. You may have never even seen before. You know, I bet you there's at least a few people in the chat that have never seen Phase 4. And if you haven't seen Phase 4, what the hell have you been doing with your life? Okay, that's my question, because that is a 1970s sci-fi film that you got to check out. It is fantastic. We are going to take a closer look at that tonight. Not only that, we're not just going to be looking at Tubi, folks. We're going to at least go to another platform that you should be spending some time on. It's absolutely free. You can watch commercial-free movies, uncut, on this platform. Won't cost you a dime. Okay? So get ready for that, because we're going to hit that first before we get on over to Tubi. But so that's kind of that. A couple of news items, folks. A couple of things that I think you will find most interesting indeed. At least I think you'll get a big kick out of this. Now, as you guys recall, last week I showed you the cards. I made up these cards for the Sci-Fi Horror Book of the Month Club. And so Thomas Fairfall, who I believe is in the audience with us tonight, actually printed up some cards. Now, he sent them to me. I haven't gotten them yet. I probably will get them in the next couple of days. But he also sent me this really groovy freaking photo where he took the card, he printed the color card. And of course, there's Frankie holding the color card on a stack of books, folks. I mean, is that freaking fantastic or what? So, and one thing too, which is even better, it makes it even that much better. Let me bring this up a bit. There we go. Now, you may or may not be able to read some of those books, but one of the books is The Fall of Colossus. Okay, and I believe that's the third book in the trilogy of the Colossus, as we know it, Colossus, the Forbin Project, the movie. But of course, before Colossus, the Forbin Project, there were 3 novels by D.F. Jones. And the first being Colossus. And I think one was called Colossus and the Crab, if I'm not mistaken. And then The Fall of Colossus. So it's just timely. You know what I'm saying, folks? It's in the stack here. So there you go. And so fantastic photo. Folks, if any of you have printed up the cards, and I'm going to show you right now where you can get them. Now, that is the color version of the card right there. I'm going to drop this link right into the chat. Okay, so once again, all you got to do is go there, right click, save. You can save the card. It is 300 DPI. It's ready for printing. It prints out to a normal card, you know, like a business card or membership card size. And you can print it right out. If, like myself, you don't have a color printer cartridge, just black and white, well, you can also print it out in black and white. I made this one for people that would rather prefer to print it out in black and white. So there's the link for that, folks. But yeah, so that's what we got on that. Once again, many thanks to Thomas for sending me this fantastic photo. That is great. So the idea, folks, print out a card, send me a wacky photo of the card in some situation, some setting, you know, and I'll show it on the show, of course, naturally, my good fiends. So there we go with that. Next up, as you saw at the beginning of the show, the trailer for my film, First Man on Mars. Here's the page you can go. You can buy it directly on my site, horroranthologymovies.com, or you can buy it on eBay or Amazon. The links are on this page. And I am going to drop that link in the chat here. So there's the link, folks, for my film, First Man on Mars, on Blu-ray. It is a limited edition, signed and numbered. Okay. So there you go right there, folks. Check it out. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on to Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. Oh, yeah, folks. It is now on Indie Planet. Good Lord. The first 100 copies sold out real quick, but now it is on Indie Planet, so you can get a copy when you like. This is my last book. And it came out this year in April of 2024, May, I guess. And finally, Indie Planet got it on their website. So if you are into pre-code horror comics, you'll want to check this out. As it says, 126-page book features 12 original art stories from the pre-code era and dozens of original art and final full-color covers. Included for the first time in print in one book are preliminary sketches and even a few unpublished covers, folks, from a wide variety of artists from the pre-code era. So let me drop that in the chat as well. There you go. That is the link if you are interested in my book, Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. It is actually selling. It sold several copies thus far on Indie Planet over the past week, which is totally cool. So there's that. And let's see what the hell. I think that's it. Okay, that's it for the news, folks. That's beautiful. I'm just going to kind of... Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go back. This photo is the best. Thomas really did a hell of a job. There he is. I just love that. And it's hilarious. Great stuff. So let's go to the chat, shall we? Without further ado. Let's see what the hell's going on in the chat. Good Lord. Holy Toledo and all that stuff. Lorenzo Sleestack is here. Hello, Lorenzo. I Am One of Us is here. Hello, I Am One of Us. 8-Bit Snake Boy is on the scene. Great thumbnail. I see we have Andromeda Strain. Yes, all of those flicks and much more. Get ready. Wayne Butler, hello. Good evening to you. Thomas Fairfall. Hello, Thomas, and thanks once again for that photo. That is freaking awesome. Radamus is here. Hello, Radamus. How you doing? Wayne Butler, that's a movie I need to check out. If that's First Man on Mars, you are correct, Wayne Butler. You should definitely check it out as soon as you can. Let's put it that way. 8-Bit Snake Boy saying hello. I remember this movie. Okay, that could be another movie. I don't know. We'll never know, perhaps. Werewolf by Lunchtime is here. Hello, Saturday morning, Mike and chat. Wayne Butler, there's also a TA movie called Rollerblade. Apex Comics is here. Hello, Apex. Radamas says, we'll take a look at this, he says, while pointing to the S on his chest. Hitler Convention. Good Lord. Logan's Run. Steve Harrison. Hey, gang. Lots of classics tonight. Yes, there are. How are you doing, Steve? You can't. You can't, but cigarettes can, Apex. And that should be a lesson to y'all, okay? You may not be able to kill Yul Brenner, but cigarettes can. Let's not forget that, folks. 8-Bit Snake Boy. I love 70s sci-fi. The Forbin Project. Clockwork Orange. Westworld. Oh, yeah. They're all freaking awesome, man. Yes. Wayne Butler. Steve says, hey, Wayne, I'm watching Tourist on Prime. What a huge country Australia is. Soylent Green, you got to tell them. Soylent Green is Monty Python and the Flying Circus. Trekkie shirt from 1970, $10, make it holla. On eBay, you can get your transfer, folks, and get this freaking swank, keep on trekking, iron-on transfer, and then get yourself a $3 t-shirt and just iron that sucker right on there. That's what I'm talking about right now. Nice keep on trekking transfer. Yes, hey, they're on eBay, folks. They're readily available. Go to eBay, look up Star Trek Keep on Trekking Iron on Transfer, and you should find ones for around $10 each. And if they're not, make an offer. If they're more expensive, make an offer for $10. I'm sure they'll go for it. 8-Bit says, I remembered to set my alarm this week. I slept through the whole show last Friday. I'm enjoying all the editing film openers before the show. Yeah, this was quite a hell of an opener, folks, on this show. And we've got like over a dozen trailers tonight. There's just a ton of stuff. There ain't no doubt about it. Science fiction in the 1970s was freaking huge. If you thought horror was, well, actually, I think they were kind of neck and neck. There was a ton of horror. Probably by quantity more than science fiction, but it was a big decade for science fiction. There's no doubt about that. Apex saved the live stream. Well, just be careful where you save it. When I grow up, I just want to be like Mike. Good Lord, that's a horrifying thought, Radamus. Sideshow Frankie. It's a great photo. Frankenstein. Once again, folks, that's the link for the color card that you can right click and save. And that's the link for the black and white card. So if you want to be stylish like Frankie right there, go to one of those links and save the card and print it out. And you will be in the Sci-Fi Horror Book of the Month Club. Remember, folks, next in September, beginning of September, whatever, I think it's the first Friday in September, we are covering H.P. Lovecraft's The Shadow over Innsmouth, which, of course, was made into actually a couple of adaptations. Film adaptations came out of that. Strangely enough, there's a Japanese adaptation, believe it or not, and I saw it. And of course, Stuart Gordon's Dagon, which is a combination of both Dagon and The Shadow over Innsmouth. So we're going to be talking about the novella and the films, and it should be a hell of a thing. Of course, Lovecraft, man. You got to love some Lovecraft. That's what I'm saying right now. Steve Mares is here. Hello, Steve Mares. Great to see you, my good fiend. Radon says, hey, Mike, I tried to watch this, but only got halfway through, but I heard it's Quentin Tarantino's hot list of films from the 70s. Oh, okay, you mean it? Slithis is on Quentin Tarantino's hot list 70s. Well, maybe it's that Venice Beach thing, man. You know what I'm saying? There you go, folks. That is the link for my book, Pre-Code Horror Comics Original Art Edition, now on Indie Planet. Check it out. If you love pre-code horror comics or horror comics in general, I think you're going to dig the hell out of this book. A lot of stuff that has never seen print before. Okay. Steve says, I like that Frankenstein is holding the card and one of the subjects of the books to go over as well. Yes, Thomas Fairfall was all over that stuff. I think he was projecting into the future, you know, with the Colossus. So there we go. Apex, 126 pages of chilling horror for a great price. 8-Bit says, definitely worth picking up. That Pre-Code Horror Comics book original art edition is a beauty. Worth every cent, in my opinion. There you go, folks. Well, there's a testimonial right there. Well, there's two testimonials. Apex at least said it was for a great price anyways. And 8-Bit is definitely playing it up. Thank you, guys. Apex says, Radamus as Frankie Stein. Dave James is here. Hello, Dave James. Great to see you, my good man. I have a cousin with a weird head. We used to call him Frankie Stein. Kevin Hellon is here. Hello, Kevin. Great to see you, my good fiend. Hey, Kevin, I don't know. Did you watch? Did you see what happened with that Alien and Ripley's Muff video that I did? Yeah, my God, it went through the freaking roof. And I mentioned you, of course, because I talk about briefly, I mentioned the premiere that we went to, the Alien premiere, world premiere at the Egyptian. And the shenanigans, of course, the burning of the props and stuff. Folks, if you haven't seen that video, I don't know, maybe some of you won't want to, okay? It might be a little too much for your sensitive eyes and ears, but it is just read the comment section alone It is hysterical. That is the, whatever it was, what did I call it? Sci-fi horror film alien. The Harry controversy. Check it out. You're going to dig it. You're going to dig it, for Christ's sake. Okay, where are we here? Steve says, Yul Brynner, I introduced to my son the Magnificent Seven. You can hear Arn. There you go. Wayne Butler has not seen Phase 4. Well, Wayne, soon I'm going to show you how you can watch it for free. So stick around for that. Radamas says, we lost Richard Benjamin too soon. He was great in Westworld. Yeah, fantastic, man. James Brolin, Richard Benjamin, what a great duo in Westworld. 8-Bit says, this show reminds me of the 70s when I used to sneak downstairs when my parents had gone to bed and watched late-night horror movies with the sound turned down low. Great times, good memories. Thank you, 8-Bit. I appreciate that. I may have to quote you on that, okay? Dagon, yes. Kevin says, I want to be in the Book of the Month Club. Kevin, simply go to one of those links that I posted, right-click on the image, black and white or full color, and print it out. And you're in, my good man. Actually, everybody is really in, anybody that watches the show. But if you want one of these cool-looking cards, just go to one of those links and save the image and print it out. Print that sucker out, and you'll have a groovy card that looks like that, the one that Frankie is holding right there. I watched Phase 4 with my parents at the theater when I was 9. I think I slept through it. Yes, you would probably sleep through that at that age, Apex. Hey, you got any gross movies to recommend today? I'm dying to use that vomit bag. So you got the vomit bag, Radamas? You hadn't mentioned anything about it, so that's great that you did. Kevin says, I have the 12-inch Boris Karloff Frankenstein's monster. That is just awesome. 8-Bit says, that Ripley's Muff video had me and my lodger laughing our pants off. So funny. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That thing went freaking nuts, folks. Kevin says that the Harry controversy, another horror Mike classic. Saw the pubes of Ripley and the t-shirt Trek when they showed up there. Yeah, I didn't see a comment, but that's good to know that you saw it. Dave says, hey, Mike, do we get a decoder ring and secret handshake? When I figure out how to print those or do something, I'll watch anything with Carolyn Monroe in it. Radamas says, yeah, check this out, folks. Oh, we got to look. We just got to look at it. Anyways, let's see. Where is it? Where the hell is it, folks? Yeah, I think I can do this. Let me just, where are you? There you go. Yeah, bloody freak off. There you go. We're on my page. On the front there. And this is the video we're talking about, folks. It's Alien 1979 Sigourney Weaver film. There we go. Let's see. It's hit 36,000 views in 3 days, which is not bad. But the comment section is just hilarious. Oh my God. If you get a chance, watch the video because it's really good. But then stay for the comments, okay? Because you'll have yourself a hootenanny. I wish there was a way. I guess there isn't. That's too bad. Oh, well. Yeah, I can't. Not with this thing anyways. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, the thumbnail was pretty good on it too, because it's got, let me see if I can get a bit larger with it, maybe. There, it's on the right side, folks. Can you see that? I'm going to make myself, there we go. Yeah, right. It says Alien Free the Bush down here, and it's all about the controversy of Ripley's pubic hair in the final sequence of Alien, the 1979 film. Oh my God. It's already, Jesus Christ, it's going to bypass my banned video, for Christ's sake. I think it may have already done that. It may even go past the Haunted Thrills video in another week. Good Lord, man. Needless to say, that was immediately demonetized as well, folks, for two reasons. One, there's some Alien film, there's some video of Alien in it. So they got me for that. I wasn't going to yank that out. And of course, the subject matter, they would not allow that for ads because of the sensitive subject matter. Let's put holy shit. That's what I'm talking about right now, my good fiends. All right, let's get back here. Oh, here we go. How did the Ripley video go over with Brazilians? There you go. Dave James, considering the topic, I'm surprised YT didn't pull this one. Yeah, it's just a matter of being extremely clever, Dave James, and avoiding any actual obscenities or nudity. That's how you work it. But you cannot avoid the fact that they will get you on the ad standards. Like if you try to monetize the video, they'll be like, hey, look, we've demonetized the video because it goes against the ad standards. You're always going to have somebody complaining. Of course, then you have trolls on top of that. There's always trolls that report videos. It's hilarious, man. Believe me, there's a lot of butt-hurt losers floating around. So that's what happens with that. 8-Bit says, me and Radamus are on the same page. Carolyn Monroe's at the top of my list, too. Yes. Yeah, I'm a huge Carolyn Monroe fan, you guys. Apex, YouTube should reward Horror Mike with the Ripley video. Why would they do that, Apex? I've rewarded myself with the video, and it's fantastic. 36,000 views. Dig it. Dig it, bro. Werewolf says, that's Jonesy. She has tucked down there. Whoo! She had something tucked down there, Werewolf. And it was brown and wild. Let's put it that way. Alien Free the Bush. That makes me want to go and watch the movie. Yeah, that's the whole thing about that, guys. Well, the carpets don't match then. She dyed her hair. The video may have been demonetized, but I bet it got a lot of new eyes on your channel. Yeah, it got over 100 new subscribers to my channel, 8-Bit. So, folks, look, if you're going to get demonetized anyways, and you know the video is going to make some cheddar, keep it on. Because, yeah, you get thousands of hits, you're going to get a lot of new subscribers. You know, you have to work the angles. You work the angles, folks, and that's how the whole damn thing plays out. Alien Free the Bush. What did the CGI cost for Alien 3? They had to do her. Yeah, you're right. Well, that time they shaved her head, Steve. A little more area to cover but slightly less sensitive. Put it that way. Who isn't a Carolyn Monroe fan? There we go. I call them rats. JW is here. Hello, JW. Good Lord. Okay, here we go, folks. All right, so there's that. All right. My good fiends. And, all right. Before we go to, I got some stuff on Tubi. But you guys, if you haven't done this, I have mentioned this before. I implore you. You got to check out Kanopy. Now, here's how it works. First off, you'll notice a few things on the page right now on Kanopy.com. No. I'm dropping the main link into the chat, and I'll explain how this works. Okay. All right, there it is, folks. That is the link to this website. Now, here's how it works. It's a free site for movies. It's all legal. Kanopy works in conjunction with the public library system. If you have a library card, your local library, then what you simply do is go to Kanopy, put in your library card number, and if your particular library has the connection, has the setup with Kanopy, you're in. You are then you've joined Kanopy. Okay. What happens is every month you get 24 tickets. Now, the movies that you're looking at right now, Phase 4, Day of the Dolphin, Rollerball, Meteor, Outland, which is fantastic, by the way. That is a 1980s film. I just have it up here for an example, right? We're going to look at a few others too on the site. I just want to show you a variety of what they have. So in any case, you get 24 tickets. All the films you're looking at right now cost 2 tickets, right? So you've got 24 tickets. Let's say you watch Outland and you pay 2 tickets. That means that in a month period, you can watch 12 feature-length films, commercial-free, uncut, no ads, on Kanopy. Now, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you watch films on Tubi or Pluto or Plex, you've got to watch ads on any of those, ad-driven channels. That's not the case with Kanopy. So simply put, if you have a local library or the library that's nearest you, right, check out and see if they're connected with Kanopy. And if you already have a card, put your card number in, go to Kanopy.com, try it out, see if your number works. If they're connected to Kanopy, then you're in. That's it, man. You're connected. And as you can see, they do have Phase 4. We're going to talk about Phase 4 and, of course, Rollerball. And, of course, Day of the Dolphin is another science fiction film from the 1970s. Meteor technically is. It's kind of more of a action-adventure kind of thing, but it does have a sci-fi angle to it. Outland is 80s. Time of Roses is just one weird-ass freaking movie. But it's an international film. It's just weird. It is freaking bizarre. It's Finnish, folks. Okay. Oh, those Finns, I'll tell you. But let me just show you real quick before we start getting into the flicks. Check these out. They got all these, man. Dark Star Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Visitor, Bug. Frogs, of course, Eco Terror type of flick right there with Ray Milland, if you recall that. Horror Express. Now, Horror Express is a lot easier to find. You can watch it on YouTube. Some of these films you might find on YouTube. Definitely not all of them. I can tell you that much. Let's move on up a little more. There we go. I'm just showing you kind of a variety of what they have. This is not, you know, not all these are science fiction. As you can see, I've already covered some of these in the sci-fi horror show, but they've got the remastered Phantasm, Piranha, Rabid, Ben, of course, the sequel to Willard, Schizo. Yeah, folks, they got Schizo. And The Long Weekend. I tell you, Long Weekend, I've not seen it. I've just saved it, but you got to check this out. This is 1978. It's kind of, I like the poster too. It's a hot babe laying out there, getting a little tan, if you will. In any case, check out this the description of this film. 1978. Attempting to resurrect their failing marriage, Peter and Marcia set out on a camping trip to a deserted stretch of the Australian coastline in the hope that a long weekend in the sunshine will help them patch up their differences. They trample through the countryside, destroying everything in their tracks, carelessly scattering their rubbish and shooting anything that moves. Their callous disregard for the environment soon becomes apparent when the animals start to seek vengeance. Marcia and Peter have proved themselves to be wanton destroyers. Can they leave, or will they be destroyed? That's the question right there for a long weekend, folks. And I plan on watching that one. You got to be kidding with a description like that. You just got to watch it. Okay. And yeah, so in any case, I just showed you like a good sampling. Once again, go to Kanopy.com. You know, look, free is free, and it's a good deal on Kanopy. You know, they definitely carry a lot of flicks you're not going to find on Tubi. You ain't going to find them on Tubi. You ain't going to find them on Plex. You know, some of these films are definitely on the obscure side. And for that matter, I would say many of them you will not find on YouTube, for example. So head over to Kanopy if you are so inclined and check it out because, man, it's a good deal. It's a good freaking deal, folks. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter here, folks. Phase 4, 1974. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the great science fiction films of the 1970s. Saul Bass. Saul Bass was a tremendous graphics designer from the 60s and 70s. He created a lot of the 007 James Bond graphics, you know, that you recall at the beginning of the films. That's Saul Bass. Well, he made this film called Phase 4. This eerie tale about super-intelligent ants marks the feature film directorial debut of noted designer Saul Bass. The story concerns two scientists who install themselves in an ant-proof dome full of computer equipment that interprets the ants' communications. When the men spread yellow poison over the area, annihilating millions of ants, the surviving ants find an antidote to the poison and get even stronger. Man, what a flick. That's all I gotta say. It is one hell of a film. Great piece of science fiction because of the mutation element, the way that they present the ants and how they mutate. Not only that, but the incredible artistry, the cinematic artistry in this film, the macro photography in this film is hard to believe. It is superb. And indeed, I've got a trailer for you. Check this out.
next few moments, we will try to give you an impression of a new kind of film experience. If your curiosity is aroused, you are ready for Phase 4.
They're sending back my message.
What does it mean? This is no message.
If there's an intelligence there, I want it to know there's an intelligence here. I believe that they'll move rather quickly into desert areas, taking over the countryside first, then laying siege to towns and cities. We have only one chance. Weaknesses. Why don't they kill us? What do they want?
How do you fight a force that knows what your next move will be before you think of it?
There we go, folks. Now that's one weird ass trailer, as only Saul Bass can do for Phase 4. It's a straightforward science fiction film. There's no doubt about that. It does have some weird visual sequences, which you just saw a bit of in that trailer. But what a great story. It is just phenomenal. And it's one of those films that I am soon going to get on physical media. There is no doubt it is physical media worthy. It is not on Tubi. I don't know if it's on Plex or Pluto, but definitely not on Tubi, but it is on Kanopy. Okay. Day of the Dolphin is also on Kanopy. And it's a really interesting film. George C. Scott stars in Day of the Dolphin. Now, his character is based upon a real scientist, Dr. John Lilly, who studied dolphins for many years. I've got a book of his called Communication Between Man and Dolphin, which is fascinating. And so his character, George C. Scott's character, Jake Terrell, is kind of a character of, it's not precisely John Lilly, but it basically is, okay? As it says, a biologist who devotes his life to dolphin research has concentrated his efforts for 4 years on Alpha, an animal born and brought up in the center, and for whom he feels an almost fatherly affection. Regrettably, the outside world insists on trying to use his research for political ends, and Jake finds himself trapped tragically between these forces and his own beliefs. There we go. It was nominated for a few Academy Awards. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it. Now, Rollerball is also on Tubi. Okay. So we're going to look at that on Tubi. But it's great to see it that it is on Kanopy as well. That is fantastic. Time of the Roses. Yeah, that was 1969. In any case, so it missed the 70s. Of course, you guys know Outland is from 1981. The other one I wanted to show you tonight on Kanopy, that's, oh, well, actually, there's one more, but Meteor 1979. Come on, folks. It's Natalie Wood and Sean Connery. Look at that photo right there, folks. Meteor. Outer space can hardly contain all the stars that round out the extraordinary cast in this thriller. Sean Connery, Natalie Wood, Carl Malden, Brian Keith, Martin Landau, Trevor Howard. Good Lord. So in any case, Dr. Paul Bradley, played by Sean Connery, is summoned to Washington by NASA Chief Harold Sherwood, who informs him that a huge meteor will smash into Earth in 6 days. The only chance to destroy the meteor is to work with the Soviets, revealing to them top nuclear secrets. But the clock is ticking. Yes, it's another one of those forbidden films, though, folks. You can't be coordinating stuff with the Soviets or the Russians. That's verboten with the idiots in office these days. So in any case, those are the films I wanted to show you, science fiction films on Kanopy. There is one more on top. Pay no attention to the other films. We will get to those soon. Some of them very soon, as a matter of fact. But it's the top film, top left, A Boy and His Dog. Folks, the year is 2024. A future you'll probably live to see. Just let that sink in a little bit. Okay. In any case, it's A Boy and His Dog, 1975, based on the novella by Harlan Ellison. The Boy and His Dog is set in a post-apocalyptic future where canned goods are used as currency and where entertainment often consists of old porn reels. Vic, Don Johnson, is a violent, illiterate scavenger, principally interested in getting laid. He communicates telepathically with his deceptively cute-looking dog, Blood. Vic finds food for Blood, while Blood sniffs out girls for Vic. There you go. And it is freaking awesome. Needless to say, this is one film that I have on physical media. There we go. The Boy and His Dog right there. I've had this sucker for a while. I love that cover too. The smiling nuclear cloud, mushroom cloud there. That is hilarious. So there you go, folks. So we're going to head on over to Tubi. But once again, man, Kanopy, folks. Kanopy has got a lot of films that you're going to want to watch. And look, if you don't want to pay, if you don't feel like paying money to rent the freaking films, Kanopy is a great way to go. They're uncut films, commercial free. That's what I'm going to say to you right now. Okay, let's get back to the chat, shall we? Okay, where are we? God, I need my glasses, for Christ's sake. There we go. Steve says, in sales, they have a thing called the Lost Leader. The Bush video is like that. Get eyes on the page. Yeah, well, that's the idea, Steve. That is the idea. That is Kanopy, folks, once again. Radon says, hey, Mike, I saw Salem's Lot in the version I saw had a different ending than the original TV version. Huh, interesting. I haven't seen that in years and years. Apex says, yes, bring attention to the bush in your video. Get 300K eyes on it. Get demonetized from YouTube and gain 100 subscribers. Yes, you thoroughly didn't understand what I said, did you, Apex? Of course, you wouldn't know anything about it. But in any case, yes, the video currently has 36,000 views, not 300,000. And the video was demonetized before I uploaded it, okay, because of the film content on it. So, You might want to talk about stuff you know about, especially when you reach the point when you're actually monetized. How about that? Wayne says, I remember Outland, good movie. Yes, an 80s movie. When we go back to the 80s, Wayne, we'll be covering Outland. Got to spell it right, though. With the K there, Apex. Steve says, Outland ties into the alien universe. No, it doesn't. None of that is true. I don't know where you get that strange shit from. Kevin says, that's strange Radamus. Yes, yes. Thank you, Dave James. I appreciate that. 8-Bit says, very nice. Looks like I need to find my library card. Look for it. I haven't been to my local library since the lockdowns. Steve says, did Count Floyd have a time of... He did. Well, they did the hour of... Wasn't it the... What was it? The Hour of the Wolf or the Whisper of the Wolf? Oh, my God. The Bergman. That was just too freaking good. Oh, my God. 8-Bit says, Bug, great movie. It is a good movie. I like Bug. It was based upon the book, The Hephaestus Plague. Hephaestus Plague, which also, I want to say that may have come out in the late 60s, but of course the film was made in the 70s. They do have some great movies, 8-Bit. There ain't no doubt about that. Now, 8-Bit, though, are you in the UK? If you're in the UK, there may be a problem because I think Kanopy only works with U.S. Libraries. I think. Don't quote me on that. I haven't looked that far into it, but I believe that's it. Bugs is good with Bradford D. Long weekend. You should be intrigued. It is quite interesting indeed. The premise seems, I mean, let's put it this way. It's either going to be very good or it's just going to be like 90 minutes of padding the film. Let's put it that way. One of us says, I've never seen Long Weekend. It looks good. Does look intriguing. Bug was very original. Marsha and Peter, where's Jan and Bobby? Sure, Jan. Wayne Butler, what about the movie Blood Beach? Good one from the 80s. And I think that was a film that I don't think I covered that, Wayne, when we did the 80s. So when we circle back around to the 80s, I'll be covering Blood Beach. Remember the byline to Blood Beach. Blood Beach, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you can't get to it. That was the thing there. Radamus, Salem lot. Okay. All right. Empire of the Werewolves in a nudit colony. Well, the nudit colony that's something right there. Werewolves on Wheels. Now, that was a 70s horror schlocker. Wayne Butler. Kevin says Saul Bass did the movie poster designs for Man with the Golden Arms, Psycho, Vertigo, a ton. Guy was an absolute graphics master. Scientists also say if ants were the size of small dogs, they would crush their legs under their weight. It's the mass to weight ratio. That was the only thing about Them, which is a great science fiction film. But as Isaac Asimov once stated, he was like, look, you get an ant that's the size of a dog or a horse or a cow, whatever. The problem is their legs would not support the weight of their bodies, and they would just collapse unless their legs were like the size of tree stumps, and in which case they could barely move. Ants rule the earth. Xanthi Misfits. Now that's a scary type of thing right there. That's a great Outer Limits, great animation. They'd be hell on the picnics. Up the pant leg. Archangel Music is with us. Hello, Archangel Music. What is that Outland movie? That Outland movie is basically High Noon in Space, Archangel Music, with Sean Connery. That's essentially what it is. He's got to protect this outpost. And these corporate types are coming in. They're corporate hitmen. And it's a tale of corruption in space. So he's got to protect this outpost because he knows a little too much. And other people in the outpost also know stuff that's going on with the corporation. So they send these assassins to kill him, you know. And so it's basically a High Noon in Space type of situation. Meteor is a good movie. Outland Connery as a space marshal out to track down weird murders on a space complex. Peter Boyle also in it, and he's quite good. Yeah, but it's, well, he actually, yeah, he does. Initially it's murders, but then they send these killers to get him. That is the gist of the second half of the film. It's High Noon in Space. But it's good. It is good. 8-Bit says Meteor was kind of the last gasp of the disaster movies of the 70s. It could have been. John Lilly used to live with his dolphins and conduct experiments using them. Yes, he did. I've got a really great book called Communication Between Dolphin and Man, which is fascinating. Fascinating. A Boy and His Dog is hilarious, especially the ending. Yes. And Ellison didn't like the ending too much. He did like the film, but he thought that the last one-liner was kind of a cheap little, you know, one-liner there. But I thought it worked beautifully, actually. Steranko drew the comic version of Outland. Corbin did the graphic novel of Boy and His Dog. Indeed. It's like a very good Western, but the lawman cleans up the town in space. Yes. High Noon in Space, folks. Could Boy and His Dog be on the book club list? It's just, yeah, the problem with that, Steve, is that it's not sci-fi horror. If it was, it would be there. Trust me. Tombstone, yeah, it's quite great. Although yeah, Tombstone I like a lot. I do like Bone Tomahawk probably a little more. Radama says a surprise ending in A Boy and His Dog caught me off guard. 8-Bit says, did you know there's an excellent Boy and His Dog graphic novel? I've got it. 8-Bit. Yeah, it's Richard Corbin art. And it's good. You know, I think Corbin could have done better with it. But it's good. It's a good graphic novel. You know, that's about all I can say about it. Rumors, Soldier, were tied into Blade Runner because the spinners spotted. Yeah, that's a real tenuous connection there, Steve. 8-Bit says Kanopy had a United Kingdom option in the corner when I had a quick look. Oh, so it might work. Woohoo! By all means, 8-Bit, let me know if you have that. If you get the connection there, that would be freaking swank, man. Now remember, you may not see some of these films that I've shown you tonight in the UK simply for rights distribution reasons. You know, sometimes other countries have different films. You may see other films, you know, that we don't have because of rights issues. But let me know if you get in. Archangel Music says Salem Lot book is okay, but Pet Cemetery is real scary book. Super soldiers like the replicants. Yeah. Kevin, the version I saw of Salem's Lot. Okay. There's a lot of Salem's Lot going on. I got to catch that version. Radamus. Bone Tomahawk is on Netflix this month. Yeah, it's been on Tubi for like 2 years. Okay. But it's definitely worth seeing many times over. Let's put it that way. All right, guys. In any case, so there it is. There's Kanopy, you know. And well, it's freaking fantastic. I mean, what can be said? But oh fuck. No. Good Lord. All right. I screwed that one up good. Good Lord, I almost did that. I mean, where the hell is it? No, there's At the Earth's Core. Oh, shit, I fucked up. I got to pull this one off. Sorry, guys. Okay, look. There's one I added, but it screwed up the list. But they just put it on. It's from 1974. It's the disappearance of Flight 412. Remember this one? I vaguely remember it, but I thought it was pretty good. As it says, a flight crew executing a test mission witnesses the disappearance of 2 fighter jets out to intercept a UFO, but the Air Force devises a cover-up. That's Bradford Dillman, David Soul, Glenn Ford. You know, was this a made-for-TV movie? I don't recall. In any case, I added it to the list. I'm going to remove it now. But if you're interested, it is on YouTube. Okay, now I can go back to the proper list here. Good Lord. There we go. There we go. All right, guys. First up, of course, this is, look, it's a strange thing with 1970 science fiction films. I think you guys will agree. Now, special effects started getting fancier, right? Especially in the 70s. You can argue that like at late 60s, they really started hitting like very well. Especially with, I don't know, with films that just required a little more complexity with the special effects. And when I say late 60s, I'm talking about, you know, films like 2001: A Space Odyssey. So special effects artists and groups were, you know, they were getting into it and they were able to create some really good stuff. You've seen a lot of 70s science fiction films, I'm sure. It's kind of a mixed bag. Some of the stuff looks really good. Some of it doesn't. Okay, that's all there is to it, you know. And then you can argue that for the time, some of it looks good. As far as I'm concerned, some of the stuff looks good to this day, you know, and some of it just never really looked that good, except for when I was like 12 years old and everything looked pretty damn good. Okay, yeah. Logan's Run. In a dystopian world where people face mandatory death at the age of 30, an elite police officer is tasked with hunting down those who try to escape. Of course, you have Michael York, Jenny Agutter, Richard Jordan, Farrah Fawcett, as you may recall, is also in this. You had 2 hotties, folks, Farrah Fawcett and Jenny Agutter. Good Lord, in the same film. Peter Ustinov and Roscoe Lee Brown rounding out this really superb cast, you know, and it's a good flick. It, if anything, yeah, okay, some of the effects are kind of dated, but I remember seeing it in the theater, loving it. Of course, I saw it, I don't know how many times after that, and it's great to see that it's on Tubi. I think you guys will agree that, you know, it's just I would consider it a classic 70s sci-fi film. I think that let's kind of leave it at that. And I do have a nice little trailer for Logan's Run for you.
MGM puts the future in the palm of your hand. This is the 23rd century, where sophisticated technology has created an automated world of wonders. A world beyond imagination until now. It is filled with beauty and the vitality of youth. Pleasure is the way of life. But in the 23rd century, life lasts 30 years. Not one day less, not one day more. When the crystal in the palm of your hand flashes its final message, your time is up. But there are a few rebels who run in search of sanctuary. Logan, trained to enforce the law, dares to become a runner himself. He and the girl who loves him become the hunted when they set off on Logan's Run, a fantastic adventure through the 23rd century. The 23rd century will be here sooner than you think. Coming this summer, Logan's Run.
There you go, folks. That's actually a pretty good trailer. I have now fond, nostalgic memories of Logan's Run, watching Logan's Run in the theater. I love those miniatures too, like the miniature cityscape. That is just really cool stuff. And once again, Jenny Agutter in particular. Now, Farrah Fawcett was definitely hot, but I don't know, Jenny Agutter, there was something about her, and also in particular, of course, in An American Werewolf in London. She was in, I believe, a couple of Peter Weir films as well. But in any case, it is a 70s staple. And, I can't say as much about this 1979 attempt to adapt H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come. If you want to watch the real good version, which we'll eventually get to, we will talk about the Raymond Massey film. I think that was, I want to say circa 1930-ish, Things to Come, which is fantastic. But in any case, this is the 1979 adaptation of Wells' novel. As it says, the time is the tomorrow after tomorrow, and mankind has now populated the moon, where vast domed cities have been built on what was once a wasteland. But when the power-mad Emperor Omus attacks the lunar colony of New Washington, a team of scientists led by Dr. John Cabal, that wasn't no accident, I'll tell you, Dr. John Cabal, launches a dangerous mission to destroy the dictator and his robot army. Of course, you got God, once again, it reads like a who's who in the 1970s, right? Jack Palance, Carol Lindley, John Ireland, Barry Morse. In this freaking thing, it has been decades since I've seen this. I have not watched it since it's been back on Tubi, but it is on the Tubi, folks. So if you are so inclined, you can watch the 1979 adaptation of H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come. Next up, a film I actually like for its animation, mostly. The Daytime Ended, folks. Now, this is being carried by Full Moon Features now from 1979. As it says, when a supernova tears a hole in time, a family find their desert dream home under assault by aliens and prehistoric monstrosities, brought to life by the fabulous, the one and only Dave Allen. The animation, the stop motion animation in this is really good. And for that, I recommend this film, folks. If you haven't seen it and you like stop motion animation, you got to check out this flick. And there's a few people in it. Dorothy Malone is in it, Chris Mitchum, Jim Davis. So it's, it's 70s. It's a 70s sci-fi film, but I do love those creatures and the stop motion animation. You know, that's the thing. It's the saving grace about The Daytime Ended, and it definitely makes it worthwhile. So there you go, folks. If you like Dave Allen, check out The Daytime Ended. Now, if you like Caroline Munro, folks, who doesn't? Of course, I think we universally agree to that always on this show. You're going to love At the Earth's Core, 1976. Now, this does have some hilarious special effects, no doubt about that. But it is an adaptation from Edgar Rice Burroughs. And as it says, when two explorers drive a large drill into the center of the Earth, they discover a hidden world where humans are enslaved by prehistoric beasts. Oh, yeah. Peter Cushing in this flick. Of course, Doug McClure and Caroline Munro. Good Lord, folks. And you know for a fact that I'm going to have some kind of a trailer for this freaking thing. Yeah, God, it's actually, well, let's see how long this goes. Here's a trailer for At the Earth's Core, folks.
It was the scientific marvel of the century, a mighty juggernaut to blast through the solid rock of the Earth's mantle
At a rate of 78 feet per minute.
4,000 miles into the heart of our planet.
We've been on top of the Earth long enough. It's about time we found out what's underneath. News cutters. Thrusters activating now. Steady the throttles. Steady. Confounded contraptions.
Grand scale adventure from the world's favorite writer of fascinating fiction, Edgar Rice Burroughs' At the Earth's Core, the astounding discovery of a strange, forbidding land.
I've only seen it before in fossilized form.
A primeval nightmare world whose shadows hid the nameless terrors that were yet to come.
Take care of yourself, David!
Humans of another age, chained in bondage by an army of ape men, preyed upon by monstrous giants.
Now I fear that Hooja the Sly One will lead Jubal the Ugly One back here.
I heard about him.
Okay, folks, I just had to get to that hot Caroline Munro part right there with that fabulous cleavage. I mean, come on, you know. But yeah, that dinosaur exploding when it fell off the cliff is just, that is just over the top. Let's put it that way. For some reason, they went with man inside suits, you know, monster suits for this film. They could have gone with stop motion animation, you know, on a few of these similar films. I know they had the opportunity to go with, you know, animators like Ray Harryhausen or Jim Danforth, David Allen. They chose not to, you know. I'm not quite sure why, because it, you know, I don't think it would have increased the budget that much more, and it would have looked way better with stop motion with these creatures, you know. So there's that. Let's get back to the chat for a second. I see a few people have chimed in here. Good Lord. What the bloody what? What the bloody what? Oh yeah, there we are. There's that. Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah, Tombstone is excellent. Agreed. I'm your Huckleberry. This is Archangel Music. Apex says double feature Tombstone and Bone Tomahawk. I think that'd be a good combo. Actually, Tombstone, my favorite Western, is Once Upon a Time in the West. Sergio Leone's best, Better Than Good, Bad, and the Ugly. A masterpiece. Wayne says, I remember that movie, The Disappearance of Flight 412. Yes. Yeah, I do too as well, Wayne Butler. I just haven't seen. I plan on watching it. It's on Tubi, folks, now. So you may want to check it out. Glenn Ford. Logan's Run. Great theater experience with Logan's Run. The effects in Logan's Run are a bit hit and miss, agreed. It has a great aesthetic design, agreed. Jenny Agutter is a great aesthetic design unto herself. The daytime ended pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's really good stop motion animation. That's, and that would have made At the Earth's Core so much better. God, and then you have Carolyn Monroe on top of that. And she was in the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, for Christ's sake. The Ray Harryhausen animation, and that is fantastic. And she makes it even better. It would have, you just got to wonder about some of these studios and their decisions. That's what I'm saying. I hope someone remakes Logan's Run with AI. Ugh. Yeah, I'll pass on that one. 8-Bit says, I thought The Daytime Ended was a TV movie. I have it on my hard drive. Well, no. It was a theatrical film. It's been on TV for decades, but not made for TV. They had some pretty women. That's right. Who Asked Holly is here with us tonight. Hello, Who Asked Holly? As a matter of fact, folks, I just subscribed to her channel. She says, I hope that too, Archangel Music. Logan's Run is definitely one for the remake business. AI, now come on, man. Let's make films with actual humans. This AI stuff is, well, we'll get to the AI thing soon enough, folks, and I'll explain why AI is actually a fraud. Okay. But in any case, I went over and subscribed to Who Asked Holly, Holly's channel, folks, and we're going to do this real quick, because people who do channels like this, I think, deserve a shout out. And as you can see, Holly deals with films, as you can see here, she talks about Train to Busan, Napoleon Dynamite, Banshee, a variety of films, folks. Severance, The Booth at the End, stuff like that. Oh shit. Oopsie. There we go. I'm dropping her channel link in the chat right now. All right. There we go. So there's her channel, folks. Go check her out and give her a subscribe, if you will. All right. Let's get back up to it. Let's see here. Wayne says, I like Logan's Run. Agreed. I like it a lot. 8-Bit says that H.G. Wells' Shape of Things to Come is hilariously bad. The only thing that it has in common with the story is the title. Terrible. I much prefer the original. Yeah, the first adaptation with Raymond Massey is definitely superior. There is no doubt about that. Hello, Holly. Holly saying her hellos. Werewolf says, I wouldn't mind giving Jenny some Lycanthropic love in the shower. I hear she's into that type of thing. Wow, I never read that, Werewolf. Although I get it. Stay off the moors. Stay off the moors. Okay. In any case. Wayne says, I've seen At the Earth's Core. It's pretty good. An instant classic. Well, it's got certain classic elements, and those two would be Caroline Munro's. Okay. 8-Bit says, I absolutely love At the Earth's Core. It's so goofy. It's wild. Doug McClure, Peter Cushing, and Caroline Munro. What more do you need? 2 Caroline Munros, perhaps? Eric Boyd is in the house. Hello, Eric Boyd. Hello, my name is Doug McClure. Wayne Butler. I've also seen the classic First Man in the Moon. Of course, that is a definite classic. Wayne says, I've seen the movie Land That Time Forgot, of course, and The People That Time Forgot. I believe they're all the same company. Kevin says, didn't it use your spider leg prop? Oh, that's in The Lost World. That's Irwin Allen's The Lost World, Kevin. The spider leg prop that I had. Which was really hilarious. That was great at parties. You got to watch Star Crash. Yes, Stella Star Crash. Good Lord, Carolyn Monroe. Once again, busting out all over in Star Crash. Steve says, I think the time frame would have been the reason to go with the men in the suits for a few. No, Steve. They were doing stop motion. What do you mean time frame for what? Time frame for shooting the film? Time frame for doing the film? What are you talking about exactly? Carolyn Monroe, sigh. I agree. Yeah, okay, yeah, but it's not just Harryhausen, Steve. It's not just one guy sitting there doing it. You got a crew. Okay. Well, let's clarify that. Eric says the best part is it's also in the public domain. Well, that and Caroline Monroe's smexy outfit hubba. The lizards and makeup really used to get to me in these dino movies. I was lucky enough to see all of Doug McClure movies in local cinema. Yeah, I remember seeing these in the cinema too, 8-Bit. My mom loved sci-fi and fantasy, so us kids were taken to anything in that genre. Thank you for the support, Mike. You are welcome, Holly. Once again, folks, there's her channel. Check it out. Go over there. Give her a subscribe. Watch some of her videos. For Christ's sake. Good Lord. Steve says, was Eric referring to the drunken interviews? McClure was known in his heyday, Merv Griffin. Yes, all were Amicus, directed by Kevin Connor. There you go. They did. There you go. Radamus has subscribed to Holly. Good show. Good show, my good man. All right, guys. Let's get on back. Yeah. Let's get on back to the tubas now. Where the hell are we? There's At the Earth's Core. Now, what the hell just happened? Okay. That's weird. Yeah. Thought I just did that. Odd. So odd. In any case, now let's get serious, folks. Let us get serious with The Boys from Brazil, 1978. This is one to see. Now, the science fiction aspect of this is, of course, human cloning. That gets even creepier because they're making clones of Hitler, folks. It's just a really cool flick. As it says, a Nazi hunter chases the infamous Dr. Joseph Mengele, who has managed to escape Paraguay to revive the Third Reich. Gregory Peck, Laurence Olivier, James Mason. Now, if these three guys are going to agree to be in a film, it's probably going to be really good. And this flick is really quite good. The Boys from Brazil. Man, it's just got some great scenes in it. It's one of those flicks that, man, it's got a lot going for it. Check this out. I've got a trailer for it, which just kind of scratches the surface, but it's a pretty decent trailer.
History has shown how one man with a dream can turn the world into a nightmare. Can history repeat itself? The Boys from Brazil starts where that nightmare left off. But for the dream to live again, 94 men must die. Gregory Peck is the architect of that dream. Laurence Olivier is the man who must destroy it before it destroys the world.
He betrayed you! He betrayed the Iron Race!
We cannot tell you who the Boys from Brazil are, only that they are not science fiction.
30 years the world has forgotten, and you persist and persist.
Will not take guards now, madame! You are prisoner!
The time is the present. The people exist. The threat is real.
Your operation has been cancelled. No. Your operation has been cancelled. Mine continues. Barry is dead. Herr Liebermann.
Only you.
There we go, folks. It's a little bit of the Boys from Brazil. That is there's a couple of strange things in there. One, in the trailer, they just slow-mo that Doberman's face, like it's snarling and coming at you many times in the trailer. It's just, I don't know, an interesting trailer choice. But it's also that Punch and Judy puppet. Now, you may recall that entire scene in the film, which is kind of creepy. The Punch and Judy puppet is in that particular sequence. It's a really great film, folks. If you have not seen The Boys from Brazil, it pays off as, international intrigue, science fiction, definitely with the cloning. There's an kind of an adventurous aspect to it, I guess. But it's just really well done. Great flick. I never read the novel, but I understand that it is quite good as well. Now, the next film is definitely, it's no Boys from Brazil, let's put it that way, but it's interesting. 1977, the Cassandra Crossing. It had definitely been a good 30 years since I've seen this freaking movie. And so I started watching it the other night, and I couldn't get through it. It's so freaking 70s. And I mean that in a bad way, like the bad 70s type of thing. Where I'll explain. First off, the description. Passengers on a European train have been exposed to a deadly disease. Nobody will let them off the train. So what happens next? Okay, you have Sophia Loren, Richard Harris, Martin Sheen, a cast of other notables, you know, good cast, good actors, everything. But like in the first 20 minutes or so, like once they get on the train, there's like this folk star that has to sing this 5-minute lame ass 1970s folk song. Everybody's sitting around watching her sing this dippy song. I mean, this film is just talk about cutting into any type of plot development. It's just constantly being derailed by stupid sequences like that. And of course, then there's like this romance interest between Sophia Loren and Richard Harris. And oh, good Lord. Yeah, it, you know, the basic premise is interesting, right? People are trapped on this train and there is a deadly disease that's spreading through the train, you know, and it's got some good scenes in it. But man, it's just no. That's all I got to say. I just cannot, after all these years, I went back and I personally could not get through the whole film. Yeah, Richard, who the fuck is that? God damn it. You know, that guy. The guy from Island of Dr. Moreau. God, I keep forgetting his freaking name. He's a great actor. But in any case, that guy's in it too. The Medusa Touch is an interesting flick. Now, I rewatched this not too long ago. This one's got some bizarre aspects to it. 1978, as it says, thriller, mystery, sci-fi. A French detective in London tries to unravel the mystery of a hospital patient with telekinetic powers whose anxieties manifest in actual disasters. This is a really cool flick, folks, with Richard Burton, Lee Remick, Lino Ventura. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it at least watching it once, you know, because it's a good bit of science fiction as far as dealing with telekinesis. It is, once again, yeah, it's got, you know, there's a 70s angle to it naturally because, well, it's a 1970s film. So it's got those aspects, but it's pretty intriguing. And Shout Factory recently did a remaster of it. So it looks really good. And it's just it's a good story. Well acted. I recommend the Medusa Touch. Let me take a look here for a second. We got Colossus, Flesh Gordon, Soil Green, Phase 4. Dark Star, of course. Okay. Yeah, we're getting there. Westworld Rollerball. Okay. All right. Yeah, this next one, I think somebody may know in the chat, but I believe this one may have been a made-for-TV flick. The Fantastic Journey, 1977. I swear to God, man, it's just got that kind of quality to it. As it says, shipwrecked in the Bermuda Triangle with people from all times and dimensions, a group battles with dangerous beings while trying to return home. There you go. Roddy McDowell is in this. Ian McShane, believe it or not. Leif Erikson, for Christ's sake. But it's just got that made-for-TV movie quality. I don't know. You know, I'm not really sure, and I haven't looked into it because it's just, it's kind of a sci-fi adventure film that never intrigued me that much. Okay, that's all. But it is on Tubi, so if you want to check it out, by all means. Next up, it's Eyes Behind the Stars. This is one weird-ass flick, folks. Weird. 1978. It's just the way it's done, everything, the editing, the storyline, the pacing. It's like maybe somebody was dropping a little acid when they were making this film. I don't know, but it's just got that vibe about it. The sense of being stalked makes a photographer and his model halt a forced photo shoot, but the film later shows what appears to be aliens lurking. Yes, Martin Balsam is in this freaking movie. And Victor Valente and Sherry Buchanan, who I recognize, but mainly Martin Balsam. He's the detective on the scene. Strange flick, folks. That's all I can say. It's Shout TV once again. It was remastered and released by Shout Factory. So now they've got it on their channel on Tubi. And it's interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's interesting because it's so bizarre. I guess that's the thing. And it's just got a strange vibe about it. Okay. Eyes behind the stars. And keeping with that, the alien type of thing, the UFO deal, I had to put this one up. Now, it has been a long ass time since I've seen UFO Target Earth from 1974. I have not watched it recently. Red Rocket Media picked it up for distribution. They have it on Tubi now. As it says, an electronics expert enlists the help of a psychic to search for evidence of aliens after picking up strange signals emanating from a nearby lake. There you go, folks. I'm going to have to watch it. It's on my list, and I plan on definitely checking it out. But I just don't remember. I don't recall if it was any good or not. It seems like maybe it was, or I'm confusing it with another similar film, possibly from the 70s. I don't know, but I'm going to watch it and see what's going on. What's up with that film? The next one I highly recommend. This is one that many of you may not have ever even heard of before. The Idaho Transfer from 1973. Can the future be saved by the ideals of the past? Believe it or not, folks, this was directed by Peter Fonda when he was actually still sane, before he became insane years later. And it is one hell of a time travel flick. Oh my God. The ending is perhaps one of the most shocking endings. I don't know, maybe one of the most shocking endings I've ever seen in a film. Let's put it that way. As it says, time travel drama about 4 teenagers who try to build a new civilization after they are sent to an ecologically depleted Earth in the year 2044. Now, yes, there is that eco-dystopia thing about this film. They don't really hammer that in very much. So, it doesn't get tedious in that respect. What really happens is that time travel starts screwing them up royally, much like in the film Primer. I don't know if you ever saw that film. It's from the mid-2000s. No budget, really great time travel, science fiction time travel film. It kind of reminds me of that. They start screwing themselves up because they're going into the future constantly. They're trying to, as it says, they're trying to build another civilization, right? That's better. I don't want to give anything away, but it's just got one of the most jaw-dropping endings I've ever seen in a film. I couldn't believe it after watching this film, and then the way that it resolves itself is, Wow. Wow. That's all I got to say, man. Idaho Transfer on Tubi. Highly recommended. Yes, it is very low budget. Very low budget flick, folks. You know, don't expect any great special effects, you know, for the time travel sequences. But the story is very intriguing, and I like where it goes. Let's put it that way. 2044, 20 years from now. Which brings us to Rollerball. Oh, yes, one of the great flicks, one of the great science fiction films of the 1970s, as far as I'm concerned, without question. This one has got, the reason why this film is so good is not only that it's a well-done film. The way that they do it, the acting is great, the screenplay, the special effects, the way that the game is, they created this game, and the way that it looks on the screen, it's really well done. But it also kind of for its prescient qualities, you know, you've got like this, a future world where there aren't really any countries, they're corporations. Countries have been, you know, completely assimilated by corporations. And so there's that entire ideology of a world that is based around corporate structure in this dystopian future. You know what I'm saying there? Yeah, I think that you do. In any case, James Caan is great in this flick. And as it says, James Caan stars as a rollerball champ in this fast-hitting, action-packed glimpse of a future where a brutal, no-holds-barred sport takes the place of war, and murder is just part of the game. What a great cast, of course. James Caan, John Houseman, Ralph Richardson, directed by Norman Jewison. It's just a great flick, and they just massacred this freaking movie with that dumbass remake. I swear to God, what the hell? In any case, obviously for Rollerball, I have a tasty trailer for you guys. Check this out.
You know how the game serves us? It has a definite social purpose. Nations are bankrupt. Corporate society takes care of everything.
I'm Daphne.
Tokyo team here's all these little short guys. No fair is greater than the game itself. It's not a game a man's supposed to grow strong in, Jonathan.
You're the only person I ever wanted. I wanted you on my side.
It's a significant game in a number of ways. The velocities of the ball, the awful physics of the tracks, and in the middle of it all, men. Little men.
Game! This wasn't meant to be a game!
There you go, folks. A little bit of Rollerball trailer for you. Fantastic. Highly recommended. It is both on Kanopy and Tubi now. You got to check it out if you haven't seen it. It's just a great flick. Let me get back to the comments here. Eight-Bit says, that's an oldie, Wayne Butler. The Gamma People. Yep, Gamma People. As a matter of fact, Gamma People might be on Tubi as well. Cassandra Crossing, science fiction. Well, it's got, yes, it is kind of science fiction, 8-bit, in the sense of the lab-developed virus. And they talk about that, the way that it mutates and so forth. It's kind of like it's science fiction in that sense, like the Andromeda strain, you know, but probably more international intrigue, but it does have that science fiction element to it. Medusa Touch is a good movie. I've seen it. Yes. Kevin says, I like the Medusa Touch. The production values were a bit hinky. I would like to see the remaster. Yes. Wow, there's a TV version movie of The Fantastic Journey on Kanopy. I like that series. It's on Tubi. 8-bit. It was produced by the same people that later adapted Logan's Run for TV. Okay, there it is. Some pretty good stuff on Kanopy. Medusa's Touch. Okay, we're looking at Tubi at this point, but they may have Medusa's Touch on Kanopy as well. Idaho Transfer is a complete snooze fest. Good Lord, are you kidding? I beg to differ, 8-bit. I had no idea what Fonda was smoking, but it poured the crap out of me. Different strokes, my good fiend. Kevin, is the Idaho Transfer an opening act for the Manhattan Transfer? Good Lord. Well, in the 70s, that they may have opened for the Iron-On Transfer. 8-bit says, so bad I deleted it from my hard drive. Good fucking God. Rollerball, that's what the future is about. There we go, right there. Rollerball is awesome. It inspired Death Game 1999 and blah, blah, and et cetera, et cetera. Yes. Martha Keller, right? Martha Keller. And Rollerball. Laughing at my typing skills. Iron-On transfers. Okay, folks, check it out. Now, we've looked at the science fiction films on Kanopy and Tubi. I'm going to get rid of that. I've got a few that I have. Okay, this is physical media time. Because you gotta check these out. It's just stuff that, for me, it's kind of a requirement on physical media. There's still a few films I'm missing, and as I mentioned earlier, Phase 4 is one of those flicks. But first up, of course, it is the 1973 classic Westworld, and this is going to bring us into AI and supercomputers and so forth. And how AI, or what people perceive of AI today, is just a complete sales marketing scam. It doesn't really exist. The way that it was written about in the 60s and 70s, after that term AI, artificial intelligence, was coined in the 1950s, was the idea, as well as, for instance, in Colossus, the Forbin project, in Westworld, etc., that the supercomputers, the robots, the artificial intelligence therein rebel, right? They go against their human creators. And that's great. That's all and good, and it makes for some great science fiction, you know? That shit ain't happening, right? This has nothing to do with reality. AI is just a marketing gimmick, folks. It's just simply computers that are faster, technology that is newer. But AI is dumb, okay? AI, as you guys, as we experience it today, as it's marketed, it's just dumb. It's as dumb as the programmer that programs it. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's what it is. You see it constantly, like AI answering questions, and they either give you a left-wing answer or a right-wing answer, completely dependent on who the programmer was that programmed them. If they were left-wing, you're going to get a left-wing answer. If they're right-wing, you're going to get a right-wing answer. That's what it is, because it's just a program. That's all. You know, so they're trying to sell it as this new paradigm. It is not. It's just simply faster computing, you know, smaller chips, faster computing, faster internet, blah, blah, blah. But what they will do is that they will try to convince you that AI has suddenly got a mind of its own. Yes, it can do stuff against, the creator's will and stuff like that. And so when they give the, AI the ability to control like nuclear stockpiles and nuclear warfare systems, and an accident happens, then the idiots in government will say, yeah, it wasn't us, it was the AI. Look, not our problem. It was that damn AI. That's exactly what the hell they're doing. That is the trick that they are trying to play on the public. So just got that out of the way. But regardless, folks, Westworld is freaking fantastic. Great cast, fantastic special effects, everything about it, all the way through. I think you would agree it's just a brilliant film. And I've got a really cool trailer for it. Richard Benjamin is just freaking great. James Brolin, of course, Yul Brynner. God, what a cast. Check this out.
MGM presents Westworld.
Your attention, please. We will soon be landing at Westworld, the ultimate resort.
We have you on grid 5, over.
It consists of 3 worlds of the past.
Locking in now.
Worlds where you can live out your every fantasy. There's Roman world, the lusty, decadent delights of imperial Pompeii.
Notify ground crews.
Medieval world, chivalry and combat in 13th century Europe. And Westworld, lawless violence on the American frontier of the 1880s.
Bacon, cinnamon toast.
Each resort is maintained by reliable computer technology and peopled by lifelike robot men and women.
Let's stand by for resort activation. Ready on 6, on 5, on 4, on 3, on 2. Activate now.
Our robots are programmed to provide you with an unforgettable vacation.
Dinner at 7, breakfast at 6:30. Get lunch on your own. Don't look like much here, but we have everything.
You mean to tell me he's a robot?
What'll it be?
Vodka martini on the rocks with a twist of lemon. Very dry, please.
Just give him whiskey. He's new in town.
Many elements of the Delos resort are potentially dangerous. That's part of the appeal.
Go on.
You say something, boy.
Kill him.
Your move.
Our technology is designed to provide all this in complete safety. In Westworld, frustrations find release. Desire ends in satisfaction.
Let me handle it.
And all in a controlled environment.
That's not supposed to happen.
We know you'll enjoy your stay in Westworld,
Hold it.
the ultimate resort,
Let me do it this time.
where nothing can possibly go wrong.
I'm shot.
Go wrong.
Raw.
Go wrong.
Oh, my God.
Shut down. Shut down immediately.
There we go, folks. Bit of Westworld. And, it's an interesting trailer because that was an actual trailer that came out advertising the film at the time. And I'm like, well, okay, you just showed like the entire progression of the 2 main characters, as they're going in the West Town in Westworld. And what happens to them with Yul Brynner. But I guess they were just like, hey, look, let's show people like a little glimpse of, how things go bad. And it worked, obviously. But it's a fantastic film. Let's get back to the chat. Let's get back to the chat here. Eight-Bit says, great show tonight. Mike, 70s are my jam, baby. Well, that's yet another thing. Thank you, 8-Bit. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Let me mention something about next week in a second. Let me just get through the chat here. Westworld is a classic. Iron-on transfer. Eric says, I was borderline obsessed with iron-on transfers for t-shirts as a kid. My mom did a couple for me. I remember the Pinball Wizard and Keep on Truckin' ones that wore out rather quickly. Yes. And if you didn't see it, Eric, I did a Keep on Trekkin'. I got a Keep on Trekkin' transfer from eBay for $10. This was when AMT model kits came out with several different Star Trek iron-on transfers back in the 70s. This guy is selling them on eBay. These are the originals, you know, and it still works, obviously. I guess if you keep them in good condition, you know, out of the heat, they'll probably last a long time. And we're looking at, this is about 50 years old. So the actual transfer itself, and it worked pretty well, you know. So quite good indeed. Keep on trekking, man. Keep on trekking, babe. That's what I got to say. Eric says, Westworld scared me a bit as a kid, but I loved it. Yes, it is. There's a scare. Yul Brynner is a man. When you're a kid, Yul Brynner will scare the shit out of you with that film. 100% true, Mike. Modern AI is machine learning and fabrication of ideas, images, music. No intelligence. Yes, that is exactly it. Ignore the bullshit from the mainstream media. It's a marketing gimmick. Yes, it is. Scaremongering. AI actually sucks. War Games, Colossus, Terminator. I was slightly too young to see Westworld, but I did see Future World. That's too bad, because Future World rather sucked. Keep on trekking. Yeah, of course, in Marvel Comics, they had a ton of those freaking iron-on transfers. We got these from a store in a mall in Illinois. There you go. Don't put iron-on transfer t-shirts in the dryer. That's a really good thing. Something to remember. They will last a lot longer if you don't dry them. To be fair, they do last, but only if you wash them at low. Yeah, you got to wash them at, medium. I always wash my clothes like medium temperature. Anyways, not hot, never hot. And then you could probably tumble dry them, right? Like on low heat. I think that would be, I think with like the shirts I've done, I'm just going to hang them to dry in the bathroom. What the hell? I think that's the way to go. So in any case, all right, folks, Westworld. Next up, another one for physical media. If you've seen my video, this one is a freaking definite for physical media because you can't rent it, okay, to save your life anymore. It is gone. They took it off of all the rental platforms. Colossus, the Forbin project. We built a supercomputer with a mind of its own, and now we must fight it for the world. One of my favorite, along with these two, are definitely, as far as like just great, hardcore, intense science fiction films, along with, I would say, the Andromeda Strain is another one. That are just really freaking gripping, well written, well acted, well produced. And Colossus is one of those flicks, man. I don't know. You may have watched the video I did about it. But I was going to rent it. I had it on my Voodoo rental list. It's like, just over a year ago. Went back to rent it. It was gone. Looked everywhere. Suddenly it was gone off of all platforms. They just wiped this sucker clean. It's about a supercomputer that is invented, goes online, and immediately connects with its counterpart, a Russian supercomputer called Guardian. And these supercomputers decide that humans suck and they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're going to bring about the ultimate destruction of the Earth unless they take control. So that's basically it. Colossus and Guardian take control of the world, basically. And they kind of, well, they more or less enslave humanity. No, but they basically, the idea is like, hey, look, you'll live fine. Everything will be cool as long as you obey us. If you don't obey us, you will die. That's essentially the message of Colossus. And it's just an astounding film. The way that it builds the atmosphere of dread in the film, it just gets more intense and more intense. And I highly recommend it, folks. As I said, you can look, there's a weird German language version on YouTube. There are, a ton of illegal uploads. You can find it on like BitTorrents and stuff, obviously, like every other film. There is a VHS quality version on archive.org, so just to let you know, if you can handle a VHS quality version, it's on archive.org and you can watch it at your leisure. But I highly recommend. I got this. Look, I bought it for $8 on eBay, new, right? You can get it relatively inexpensively if you look around for it on eBay. I can't recommend it enough. It is one to have on physical media. There is no doubt. I've got a cool little trailer for you right now.
This is the dawning of the age of Colossus.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Charles Forbin. In a few moments, Colossus will address us directly.
This is the voice of world control. I bring you peace. It may be the peace of plenty and content, or the peace of unburied death. The choice is yours. Obey me and live, or disobey and die.
The frightening story of the day man built himself out of existence. Colossus, the Forbin Project.
It's making you a prisoner.
Shock, horror, suspense. Created with all the technological brilliance of 2001, A Space Odyssey. Colossus is the ultimate in sophisticated computers.
I'm going to try to convince the computer that you're my mistress. And that therefore I have to be given the opportunity to see you regularly in private. That way we can pass information back and forth.
4 times a week.
Good night.
This is insane. When do you think you'll be able to attempt the overload?
Colossus sees all, senses all, knows all, controls all armaments and all defenses. When this emotionless creation becomes the master of man, the result is catastrophic.
The Supreme Council of the USSR has ordered, as of 2300 hours Moscow time tomorrow, the activation of an electronic brain exactly like ours, which they call Guardian.
They built Colossus, supercomputer with a mind of its own. Then they had to fight it for the world.
The missile has just been launched. It is heading towards the Cyan-Sibirsk oil complex.
Guardian has retaliated.
Retaliated?
It may be too late, sir.
Oh, my God.
There you go, folks. A little bit of Colossus, the Forbin Project. Highly recommended. If you can find it. I recommend that if you can find it on DVD or Blu-ray, get it. Just get it. I mean, I think like other films, they're just going to disappear at some point, I can see that, you know, Universal Pictures they control the copyright. They own the film. They can do what they want with it. Apparently 10 years ago, they were considering doing a remake, good Lord, of this film with Will Smith. Holy shit. Fortunately, that did not happen. Okay. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Several years ago, Shout Factory or Scream Factory came out with a remastered Blu-ray release. This is the DVD release of it. In either form, highly recommended. If you're a real, you know, look, being a real science fiction fan, that's what I'm saying. It's not like just for just general film lovers. I don't know if I would recommend it as much. For science fiction fans, it's an absolute must. Gotta have it. Gotta have Colossus, the Forbin project. Now, on a lighter note, but still keeping with the concept of AI, folks. Okay, here we go. Dark Star, John Carpenter's first film. Strangely enough, also starring Dan O'Bannon, who several years later, of course, would write Alien with Ronald Shusett and then write the screenplay for the film. But Dark Star is a science fiction comedy, and it also deals partly with a supercomputer on board the ship that decides that he basically, the supercomputer starts getting philosophical about things, and much to the chagrin of the crew members. And it's pretty damn funny. Like all of the stuff between the crew and the supercomputer as they're arguing with it is pretty hilarious. It's a really great film. Classic 70s. Low budget sci-fi flick. You know, if you get a chance, check out Dark Star. And it's another one that I definitely wanted on DVD. I got this a while back. Glad I did, you know. And last but definitely, I wouldn't say least, it's an odd one, folks. It is an odd one. It's science fiction. It is Cafe Flesh. Yes, it is an adult science fiction film. That's what it is. Let me read the description here, the storyline. Oh my God, this is classic. Okay, able to exist, to sense, to feel everything but pleasure. In a world destroyed, survivors break down to those who can and those who can't. 99% are sex negatives. Call them erotic casualties. They want to make love, but the mere touch of another person makes them violently ill. The rest, the lucky 1%, are the sex positives, those whose libidos escaped unscathed. After the nuclear holocaust, the positives remain to love, to perform, and the others, well, we negatives, can only watch, can only come to Cafe Flesh. Cafe Flesh, folks. Steven Sayadian, who also did a great adult kind of horror fantasy film called Night Dreams. Highly recommended. Of course, Steven Sayadian also did what could be considered the sequel to The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is the 1989 film simply called Dr. Caligari. Highly recommended. If you can find it. It's another one of those things. But yeah, Cafe Flesh is really interesting. It's an interesting science fiction concept. Obviously, they made it as well with the adults market in mind, you know, but there you go. That's just a few science fiction films I have on physical media that I wanted to show you guys. And let's see what we have here. I know there's a couple of things that I have not shown you. No, no, okay. Yeah, keeping it. I wanted to kind of keep on this track. There are a few different versions of this film. Now, this is I don't know. I don't even think this is an R-rated trailer. It's probably PG-13 trailer, but it is for a film called Flesh Gordon, which of course is a sexy takeoff on Flash Gordon, right? And you could, I consider this an absolute science fiction fantasy classic of the 1970s with some great stop motion animation and special effects. Check this out.
Gentlemen, we are in big trouble.
You've heard about it. You've read about it. Now, finally, you can see it.
It will be a dangerous trip, and I don't know what we're likely to encounter out there. But someone has got to save the Earth from the treacherous clutches of that evil ray.
Sure. Why not? We'll give it a try.
Blast off with Flesh Gordon in his cosmic crusade against all evil. Witness the unbelievable, death-defying feats of that most remarkable superhero of them all, Flesh Gordon. Journey with Flesh Gordon through the dangerous outer reaches of intergalactic space as he joins forces with the mysterious professor and the lovely Dale Arder to save the Earth from the incredible sex ray.
It's so strange in here. Flesh, it almost looks alive.
Flesh Gordon, the preposterous. Be swept away to the dazzling heights of astonishment as you enter worlds unknown.
I'm Prince Precious, rightful heir to the throne of porno.
What is it? The floor! It's opening! Join Flesh Gordon as the crafty Emperor Wang unleashes the forces of interstellar tyranny against him in 100 mind-boggling adventures. Flesh Gordon.
Look!
An outrageous parody of yesteryear's superhero.
It's the 8th wonder of the world.
Oh, boy. Not to be confused with the original Flash Gordon.
There you go, folks. Flesh Gordon. Good Lord. What a flick. And yes, I do have that naturally on physical media on DVD. It is just hilarious. There are so many great, funny scenes in this stop motion animation. You know, it's really good stuff. The trailer, you know, of course, they didn't show much. It's a general audience trailer, you know, but it's pretty raunchy. It's a pretty raunchy film, but it is hilarious. Oh, my God. They've just got some great sequences. So it's highly recommended. Yeah, you're not going to find that on Tubi. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's ever been on Tubi, and I don't think it ever will be. But what do I know? I mean, they've had some other films that they kind of shocked me that ended up on Tubi. So who knows? Who the heck knows? Let's check out the chat, shall we? Dave James says, Forbin Project and Andromeda Strain are my comfort food movies. They are so what a combo. If you wanted a great double dose of classic science fiction cinema, Colossus, the Forbin Project, and Andromeda Strain would just be one hell of a double feature. 8-Bit says, I have a couple of Love and Rockets t-shirts that have lasted me since the early 80s because I watched them at low temperature. Yes. They are for the comic book, not the band, despite the band coming from my hometown. Wow. Yeah. Love and Rockets, man. Come on. They had some good tunes. They had some good tunes, man. Good for confusing the locals. Yeah, oh, I bet. Go ask, goddamn. Who asked Holly says, I'm going to watch Colossus, looking forward to it. It's on, as I said, it's on archive.org, Holly. And yeah, you can find it around. It's just not particularly easy online unless you find it on a BitTorrent or something like that. Colossus, the Forbin Project movie is fantastic. I'm so glad they didn't make a remake. iRobot was an absolutely, it wasn't even that somebody should have been shot for that iRobot film. I swear to God, man. You know, there was a huge thing, 8-Bit and everybody, about iRobot. Now, that was the first book, and then there was the Foundation trilogy from Isaac Asimov. Right? iRobot is a fantastic book. It is so good. And that piece of shit that came out starring Will Smith bears little to no resemblance to the book. Harlan Ellison wrote a screenplay for iRobot in the 1970s. As a matter of fact, I had cassette tapes of Ellison reading the entire screenplay himself during a convention. World Science Fiction Convention, late 70s, I want to say. And I was like, oh man, this is going to make a great movie. And it seemed like it was going to happen. It did not, right? And unfortunately, because that screenplay would have been the screenplay to use to make iRobot. Unfortunately, a bunch of retarded freaks from who the hell knows where, you know, that had no clue about science fiction, decided to write some fucking lame ass script. And thus you got that just incredibly mediocre Will Smith piece of crap. So that's the way that cookie crumbles, as it were. Dave James says Scream Factory still has a few copies of Colossus left in stock, and you can also find it on eBay. I bought the DVD version on eBay, and I think it, you know, I got multiple films. It was a place on eBay where if you buy 5 or more films, you get 20% off. So it made it like $8. It cost $8 for the brand new shrink wrap, brand new Colossus DVD, which is a good, very good deal. Dark Star, interesting use of beach balls. Yes, the battle against the alien beach ball is it's unforgettable. Let's put it that way. Even if you try. 8-Bit says also all AI should be banned unless it uses Cylon-style electronic voices. Nothing builds trust like Cylon voices. Yes. Dark Star used to be my favorite movie to get stoned and watch. Yes. 8-Bit says, damn you, Mike Lowell. I've been trying to get a physical copy of Cafe Flesh for years. Highly recommended as well. 8-Bit, Night Dreams. Same director, Steven Sayadian, and of course, as I said, 1989, Dr. Caligari, which is not an adult film. It is definitely very R-rated, but it's, God, what a great freaking flick. I've got that on DVD somewhere around here. Dave James says, by your command. Kevin says, a youthful indiscretion. Kevin Helen, a great choice. It's hilarious. Yes. Mine were Star Crash and the original Crow. Who asked Holly says, I don't want to interrupt anything. I have to go. Thanks, Mike. Later in the chat. Great week. Flesh Gordon. Yes. All right, Holly. Take care. We will see you soon. 8-Bit says, I picked up a copy of Flesh Gordon last year from my local CEX. The staff were all making a big deal about someone buying an adult movie. It was hilarious. Yeah, I guess technically it was, you know, an adult film. I believe there were 2 versions. Originally it came out, they put an X rating on it. Then there was an R-rated version. I'm not sure exactly how that worked out, but 8-Bit says, this is an adult movie. The manager asked me. I said, have you seen it? I don't think it's adult in the way you think it is. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. iRobot movie was trash. Insult to Isaac Asimov. Absolutely, Eric. I have the Forbin Project on DVD. You got to have it. You got to have it. Folks, have a good night. Have to go to work in the morning. Absolutely, Wayne. Thanks for being here, my good fiend, and have a great rest of the weekend. My good man. All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps up the 1970s look at science fiction films of the 1970s, my good fiends. I hope you enjoyed that. So here's the thing. Next week is the 1970s finale. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean this. Movies that I have not included as of yet that definitely need to be included. These include horror films, sci-fi horror films, and a few fantasy flicks that I think we gotta talk about them, right? Because they're definitely worth going over as far as the 1970s, and getting into a little more of the science fiction culture, the magazines, TV stuff, TV shows, TV series. That's going to be covered next week. Comic books of the 70s, of course, the Bronze Age of comics at that time, and stuff like that, So that's what we're going to be taking a look at as we do our 1970s finale. And then after that, folks, we're going back further. Yes, we're going into the 1960s. And the more I get into compiling stuff for the 1960s, you guys ain't going to freaking believe it. Man, the 1960s was the kickoff point for the 1970s, right? It was kind of like everything was building. People were like doing stuff in the 60s. They were making outrageous films. There's no doubt about that. But they were just kind of getting their feet wet, trying to figure out how things worked. And the 1970s just exploded with realizations from things that people were trying to do in the 60s. But as we know, there were many films that happened in the 60s that are to this day, they look, okay, 2001 Space Odyssey, they wouldn't freaking remake that. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're liable to do anything at this point, but they would have no reason to. Rosemary's Baby, they already tried. It was lame ass bullshit. Stuff like that, horror films, there's a ton of them. And we're going to be, I think we're going to spend at least 2 or 3 segments on the 1960s alone. I could see it because there is a lot of great stuff that happened in the 60s. But next week, 1970s finale, folks. You won't want to miss it. Of course, I'll have a little teaser thing out on Thursday for it. So it'll give you a better ideas to what you can look forward to on the Horror Mike Show. Let's take one last look at the chat before we call it a night, my good fiends. Good night to everyone who has to go. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm here until the end. There we go. They ruined I Am Legend. God, yeah. Oh, God, that was just the Vincent Price version, way better and actually closer to the book, the Matheson book, than any of the other ones, than the Omega Man or I Am Legend, that Will Smith travesty. Once again, God. It's just hard to believe. It's hard to believe. But yeah, they do it all the time. I'm a big comic book collector. I think I'm going to enjoy that show. Yeah, I'm going to be dishing out a few comics. It should be really fun, and some classic 70s magazines. Oh yeah, I got a few gems, folks. Wait until you check these out. You see, I've got Jugs, Vixens. That's a good. No, just kidding. It won't be those kinds of magazines. Or will it? Yeah, it's the Will Smith curse. That's exactly it. I have a very large collection of 70s and 80s movies, almost as big as my 50 sci-fi collection, which is ridiculous. Excellent 8-bit. And of course, we are heading towards the 50s. After the 60s, no doubt about it, the 50s was huge. Huge for science fiction in particular. Not as huge for horror, but great for sci-fi. Oh my God. Clockwork Orange can't be remade. Yeah, Kevin, you think they wouldn't touch it? They wouldn't touch it. I swear to God, these bastards, they're, I don't know. Blumhouse is doing a remake of Creature from the Black Lagoon, for Christ's sake. God. Lovely Linda, go. Yes. Same here. I mostly collect 70s sci-fi and 80s DC horror. Kirby, Alan Moore writing. The set designer for I Am Legend. My schoolmate married her, and she was very disappointed with the Will Smith movie. Very, very, folks. Have a great weekend, everyone. Good show. Everybody have a fantastic freaking rest of the weekend as we go into the weekend. And as is tradition, my good fiends, we lead out with the Starfires and their superb rendition of Linda. Everyone take care, and I will talk to you soon.